Welcome into episode 20 of the Palmetto Dugout Show. I'm Drew Stewart here with Sammy Esposito and Sean Smith. What's going on, guys?
What's happening? We doing all right?
Doing as good as we can. Got a half a day left, and we are out. It's going to be a great rest of the year for 2022. No more kids, for me at least. Maybe for Sammy, but not for me.
They continue.
We got a bunch of mixed things to talk about today. Starts off with our top 10 profile views, which one released today, and that was number 10, Gunnar Jordan. But I'll let Sammy talk about those a little bit.
Yeah, our most viewed profiles. I mean, this is a fun list for us, right? You get to kind of see it a little bit all over the board, but you know, a lot of the times you see a lot of these kids. You'll see some that you go, okay, it's a no-brainer. I can't talk too much into the future because we wanted some of these surprises coming out. And some of them you go, okay, that guy's no brainer. Everybody's going to click on the stuff. Others, you see stuff, but a lot of these guys that get some really good profile views out there, they do a tremendous job of themselves post events, right? When we put out our stories, when we put out our social media, these guys do a tremendous job on their end, promoting themselves, putting their stuff out there, using our stories to help them in the recruiting process, which has happened. We get calls and we get texts from coaches asking about certain guys. So a lot of these guys that are coming out, some of them are some uber high end, big profile names. Some of these guys are obviously, all these guys are ranked in our stuff, and a lot of them, are just doing a great job in terms of promoting themselves and getting their things out there. So these are a fun list for us at the back end of the year as we get to break down these guys that are really getting their profiles viewed on a daily, monthly, weekly basis.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna put Sean on the spot right here. Sean, so we've got number 10 out. Who do you think? Have you seen the list, Sean?
I haven't.
Okay, who do you think the number one top profile view is? Just
top
guess.
Profile. Just a guess. I'll go reliable. Deion Brown is number one at the top.
Okay, I guess you'll have to wait to find out about that one.
I can't wait.
Maybe we'll share it with Sean as soon as we get off of this call.
December 30th, it'll be breaking. December 30th, number one will be breaking.
Number one, already scheduled out. Look at Sammy taking my job from me.
Hey, Christmas coming up. Got to have some days off. You know what I mean? Thank God for automation and scheduling things out.
Exactly right. Exactly. All right, let's jump over to our hitting league at 17 Co up in the upstate of South Carolina, where our wonderful Austin Smith is working diligently with that group up there. I'm going to bump it right back over to Sammy to talk about that.
Yeah, diligently. Great word. Austin is doing a tremendous job up there covering. It's been the first 2 weeks he's been up there, seeing some really good talent. Some guys that have come through a few of our events. Some other guys that we have not yet seen. We've already posted one story from last week's event. We'll have another one going out this Wednesday of week 2 up there in the upstate at 17 Coast Winter Hitting League. It's a really neat thing, and I've talked to Austin a couple of times about it. It's just a neat event for those guys. They put themselves in a good environment, with other good players, whether it's from that 7th, 8th grade range all the way up to high school seniors, and they put themselves in a fun game with a lot of competitiveness, and it just makes it neat. You get in there, you get some good bonding, get some good swings in. When I was talking to those guys, John Nestor and those guys up there, 17 Co, also USA Prime, it's one of those things, especially if you're a high school coach, to me, your guys are getting work in, your guys are getting reps, your guys are competing, which is huge, especially rolling in out of the winter, getting ready to crank up for high school ball. You want to make sure your guys are doing work. So I know they got a bunch of teams up there, a bunch of players, and it's fun. I know Austin's had a good time covering it. Every once in a while, he's got to battle through a couple parents in the cages to get some good video and some guys, but he's up there week 2, and week 3, obviously not going to be on the weekend this week. It's going to be a Wednesday, Thursday deal with obviously Christmas. So the holidays coming up. So look for week 3, gonna get a little bit more coverage rolling into the new year.
Yeah, Austin's the man sometimes. we got a joke with Austin a little bit since he isn't on the podcast with us, but maybe he'll listen. We'll probably get a text later. So we'll jump over to another big thing we've been doing, as you've seen through our YouTube channel. That is our high school previews. We've had 5 or 6 before. We also have AC Flora, Chapman, Greenwood, and Westside High School releasing through this week. So keep your eyes open for that, as we have a bunch scheduled for this week that will release next week. But high school coaches, if you are interested, please let us know as soon as possible, as these dates are filling up. Go ahead, Sammy.
Plus, on top of that, not only our high school previews, our high school questionnaire has been sent out. So any high school coaches that are listening out there, obviously we're going to, we got your own segment that Drew works diligently on, as that word of the day. Doing a great job of putting that thing out there and getting out there for the fans to hear, but also we'll attach our preseason questionnaire with that. So when we release those preseason questionnaire, those stories in January, it'll be linked in with those high school previews.
Yeah,
coaches, fill them out. We had a good turnout. We sent the thing out Friday. We've already got a good turnout so far starting up. So get on there and fill those questionnaires out.
Yeah, we need those questionnaires to go nicely with our beautiful YouTube videos that I work diligently on every night. Every night. I mean, putting in some work with these coaches, but we enjoy it. So we'll jump over to let's recap our pick'ems here. We've already had 9.5 games played, okay, because the half of the game's still playing right now. So with that being said, if the result ends as it is now with Marshall up 21-0, this guy right here will finish 7-3 in the first 10, as Sean and Sammy finished 6-4. So not far behind are those two. But we'll see. We got the new pick'em graphic will release tomorrow, as more games are tomorrow. Sean
got a long way to go. We only picked about 100 games, so
Yeah, we only picked 100. Let's for the first time in my life, I feel like I picked wrong with the Gamecocks.
It's even harder and harder with these all these opt-outs and portal guys cranking up every single day. It's you think if the players would leave, if they're committing to a school, they should be able to play for them real quick. Throw a new wrench in the plans.
Well, we can fix this, right? Give them a few NLI dollars for playing in the bowl game, and then all is well, right? They'll still
100%. Hey, the contract with NIL should be through bowl games.
Yep, have to play the bowl game to receive this money.
100%. You want the rest of your money, you got to play in the game.
Yeah.
New rules. PBR South Carolina.
PBR South Carolina
new rules.
Yeah. We'll see who
when we finally do get a sponsor for this show, maybe we can become a part of the NIL packages for these student athletes.
Everybody says, the business of college sports runs through PBR South Carolina. That's what I've heard. So.
That's why we have this many
all
sponsors.
over the message boards.
That's why we have that many sponsors. It's wonderful. Hey, still need that sponsor. New year, still need a sponsor. So come on.
Hey, Coke Zero will take sponsors. You never know. I'm obviously, as all these guys know, big Chapstick fan. Chapstick will take sponsorships.
Hey, we got.
So you never know.
Hey, Drew's got the Christmas lights on lock though. We get a little sponsorship there. Local guys. I think we could do it.
Who are we gonna get the sponsor? Santa Claus.
The North Pole.
I figure. Santa's a guy, right?
Hey, well. So now we'll jump over to the baseball side of the podcast for a minute. Start this out with the underclassman of the week, and that is RJ Groomster 2025 from Hillcrest High School, and Sammy's got him.
RJ's been he's been a fan of PBR South Carolina. We've been a fan of him. We got a first chance, last year when we did Scout Day with Southern Athletics Group, got a chance to watch him up in the upstate. And RJ, I remember when he was there, the coaches were up there talking about him, how he played quite a bit as an 8th grader for Hillcrest when they won the state championship that year. And obviously when RJ came to that first event, kind of his athleticism stood out. A little bit small of a frame, but the bat speed, the swing, the athleticism, the way he moved really kind of stood out, especially that was the fall of his freshman year. Yeah. And then obviously we got a chance to watch him at the preseason All-State, and then he came back to our border battle this summer. And, it's a very balanced setup when he hits. It's a good, simplistic swing. It's got some bat speed to it. It's consistent hard contact, obviously, in BP. It's got a little bit of uphill path in there, but it's nothing too long or too bad. But he really gets out front with some good extension, and he really rotates through the ball really well. So RJ athletically from that standpoint, and obviously as he keeps getting older, he's still young and continue to grow and mature and get in that frame. But he moves well in the infield. Can also go out and play in the outfield with that athleticism. Shows well running the 60. I think he was a 7.0 runner. That'll only guess that would continue to improve. But it's just overall, he's a really good prospect for me. I think as a young guy that continues to play and continues to grow and mature, some colleges are going to be knocking at the door for him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he progresses coming up in this spring high school season, because I'll get to see him a decent amount of hope since he's in my neck of the woods up here. So we'll see. So that'll bump us over to our uncommitted senior of the week, and that is Sean Friedholm from Riverside High School 2023. And Sean's going to talk about him.
Sean to a Sean.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was gonna point out probably my favorite thing about Sean Friedholm is that he spells his name correctly. So he's got a big check mark in my book for him. But Sean, we got an opportunity to see him at the border battle up there at UNC or at Charlotte over just this past summer. And what stands out is that mature frame. I'd say it's 6'1", 190 pounds. Standing at the dish, he's got a little bit slightly open stance with some good flex in his knees. I like the balance that he's got there. He's got a lot of obvious strength in his lower half, which I really like to see as he's coming through the zone. He's got, that hand motion, hand moves well through the zone. And he's got a lot of bat speed in there. The swings may be a little bit long, but he's going to make it up with that bat speed in there up, the numbers there up to 79 miles an hour maximum bat speed. And you can see that with the exit velocity up to 99 miles an hour off the bat during that BP setting there. So, he's a very strong frame. He's probably going to stick it. We've got him listed as a third base and a shortstop, probably more of a corner infielder long term there, maybe even making the full move over to first base just because he's such a big guy and he's gonna hit for a lot of power. And in the field he moves well. He's 7.07, so it's a 7 flat 60 time we had him. So he moves better than you'd think for a guy of his size. But in the field, the action of the arm is a little long, so he's got some work to do there. But he's a guy that is gonna have an opportunity to produce. And like I mentioned before, that strength is going to translate to some power. And he's got some other good metrics in here, like as I mentioned with the bat speed and the hand speed. He's gonna hit a lot of balls all over the ballpark, and he's gonna be a guy that's definitely gonna be able to contribute for a good school at Riverside up there in the upstate.
Yeah, and we'll get to see him early in the year as we'll see Riverside down at the Shipyard PBR preseason tournament. So it'll be interesting to see him in that tournament as well, as we know that tournament is going to be so exciting.
So exciting.
We'll make sure we do our diligent work before and during and after that tournament. So we'll see how that goes. So Sammy, Sean, you got anything for I wrap this up for the last time for 2022?
Yeah. To me, obviously we're putting out a lot of the year-end stuff, year-end reviews, a lot of stuff we did on fall stories wrapping up. We got some top performer stuff coming out. A lot of this stuff will kind of also roll into the new year in the beginning of January, but just a lot of kind of look back over the year, right? Kind of wrap up as before we roll into our preseason all states, which, by the way, registrations are off the charts right now. Not far off from getting ready to close these things, how we're filling these things up. So I just continue to look and follow the website, follow our social media with these year-end reviews, just because it's neat to look back at a lot of these players that we've had come through a lot of our events, and see some of these numbers, because a lot of times we're in the middle of the event. We kind of get lost in working the event or seeing what's going on, or you forgot about X player that came to something, 4 or 5 months ago, and it's kind of neat to come back and look and see how well these guys go. So keep looking over our social media and obviously on the website and checking out these stories and checking out the things that, best breaking balls, best fastballs, all those good things.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to add on to that. I mean, just talking about the growth of our brand here in the last year or so. I mean, obviously we all started working together in the last year and a half. We met at the Future Games of 2021, and I mean I've been working not exactly nonstop, but we've been working very diligently over the last year and a half or so. And I mean especially in the last calendar year, absolutely. I mean all the guys that we've been able to see through any showcases and tournaments, events that we may have. It's been a lot of fun, going out here and expanding our brand. I think our Twitter follower count has gone up, well over 100%. And these returns that we're getting is is really good for us. And I just like to see our brand expanding. And I think we're doing a really good job. And shouts to you guys. You guys have great connections in the state, obviously, and keep those phone lines hopping. I think that PBR South Carolina is getting to be a big time scouting service for the state, and a very reliable one too. And I'm proud to be a part of it. And I think we've done a really good job here, guys.
Yeah, this is, let's just go ahead and say it, the best staff in prep baseball report history. Like nothing compares, right? Not even any previous PBR South Carolina staff. No, I mean, better than PBR Georgia. I mean, honestly, Sean, we know you like coming to our events more than you like.
Hey, I'm sitting in a PBR Georgia territory right now, back home in Marietta. So I'm going over state lines again, and I just graduated, so I have no more ties to South Carolina. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's our special shout out right there. Is the
special shout out.
Congratulations, Sean Smith.
Thanks very much. Yes, it's been a wild ride. I've been ready to get out in the workforce for about the last year and a half when we all met up. So it's been
and
fun.
now you're going to be wanting to get back into school.
Yes, yep.
You're right.
Everybody says that, but I'm waiting to feel that way. It hasn't hit me yet. So
hey, give it about 6 months and you'll be wanting to be a sloth for the rest of your life.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you're going to be wanting to wake up at 12 o'clock every day, showing up late. That's what you're going to be wanting to do. It's the life cycle we all get to live. So yeah. Hey, speaking of those sponsors out there, we send some gifts to Sean's house for his graduation presents. If anybody,
we'll take it. Anything works.
Hey, Sean, they'll get lost in the mail somewhere. Don't worry, you'll get them later.
100%.
Hey, we'll wrap this one up here. This is our last episode of 2022, but I want to touch on what Sammy and Sean said. We want to say a special thanks to all coaches, parents, and players throughout this great state for a successful 2022 for schools throughout the state, as well as us as a staff. But we do have 2023 coming up, and podcasts will resume. We've got
bigger and better.
Two special guests coming up at the beginning of 2023. We can't reveal those yet, but you're going to want to make sure to tune in to those, as you're going to be really special, especially if you're a big collegiate fan within the state. So with that being said, from all of us here at PBR South Carolina, have a great Christmas as well as a happy New Year.